Hey everyone, welcome to a deep dive that is jam-packed with inspiration, style tips, and some serious family goals. We're going to be uncovering the world of Angela Braniff, mom of 8, online entrepreneur, and just all-around fascinating woman.
Sounds amazing.
Our guide for this journey is an article. It's called Angela Braniff, The Embodiment of Successful Motherhood and Online Entrepreneurship.
Catchy.
But honestly, I think, how does she do it all? Might be a more fitting title.
I agree. What's intriguing about her is that Angela isn't just representing this successful mom image we see everywhere, right? She's kind of carved out this niche by weaving together all these seemingly disparate elements, farm life, fashion, bustling online presence. It's a recipe for success that a lot of people want, but not many people seem to master.
Okay, so let's rewind a little bit to understand how she got here.
Yeah.
The article kind of paints this picture of Angela leaving suburban life behind and moving her family to a hobby farm. That's a big change.
Yeah, big leap.
I mean, I feel like most people would really struggle with such a drastic change.
Yeah. You'd think so, right? But the article highlights how she documented this whole transition in her vlogs, showing both the idyllic moments and the struggles that come with that.
Right, the reality of it.
Yeah, it's that raw honesty that makes her so relatable. She's not afraid to show that life, even on this charming farm, isn't always going to be perfect.
Yeah, it's not all picture perfect.
No.
That's so smart. It makes you wonder if that's part of the secret to her success, just being real.
Hmm.
But it's not just farm life struggles she's open about. The article also mentions her fashion, especially for women over 40.
Right, exactly. Forget chasing, all this fleeting trends. Angela's all about building a wardrobe that reflects your style and makes you feel confident.
Mhm.
In fact, one of her tips that's really popular is transforming basic outfits with accessories.
Okay, I like this.
So using a colorful scarf or statement earrings to just instantly elevate a simple dress. It's budget-friendly style advice that anyone can, implement.
That's something I can get behind. It's like she's giving you permission to have fun with fashion, but you don't need a complete wardrobe overall.
Right.
But fashion's probably low on the list when you're a mother of 8, right?
Yeah, it's hard to think about clothes when you've got 8 kids.
The article barely scratches the surface on how she does that. Homeschooling, running a farm and a business, it sounds superhuman.
It really does. But here's the thing, she doesn't shy away from the tough stuff. She'll openly talk about the chaos, the exhaustion, even those moments when she just wants to hide.
Like we all feel sometimes.
Totally. And it's that vulnerability that resonates with so many parents.
It makes you realize she's not just some curated online persona, right?
Yeah.
She's a real person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Navigating the ups and downs, just like all of us.
Exactly.
But there's one aspect of her family life that I feel like really shines through. It's her passion for adoption.
Yes, definitely. With 6 of her 8 children adopted from all over the world, Angela is a huge advocate for giving children loving homes.
6 out of 8, wow.
She even wrote a book, Love Without Borders, and it goes beyond just her personal experiences. It's like a guide, and it offers resources for families who might be considering adoption.
That's so incredible. It's clear that family is at the heart of everything she does. But the article also makes it clear that she's a businesswoman too. She's managed to turn her passions into a thriving online shop, this gathered nest shop, which, kind of embodies her brand perfectly. Witty, stylish, optimistic.
What's interesting is she doesn't just put her name on any product, right? Everything is so carefully curated,
Yeah.
it has to align with her values and her aesthetic. You can really see how intentional she is. And her dedication to engaging with her audience, doing Q&As and social media, it really solidifies that connection.
It's really fascinating how she's managed to create this cohesive brand. It blends her family life, fashion sense, even her farm into this authentic package.
Definitely.
But we're just scratching the surface here.
Yeah.
There's so much more to unpack about her journey and the lessons we can all learn from it.
There really is. I'm excited to dive in.
Me too. Let's keep going.
It really does make you think, how does someone like Angela, who seems to have it all figured out, stay grounded and manage all the pressure that comes with that, having a public life?
Right, exactly. It's easy to look at the highlight reel and forget that there's a real person behind the Instagram feed.
Yeah.
But I think what's so cool about Angela is that she doesn't shy away from those less glamorous moments. She's open about the challenges, like juggling everything, being a mom, working.
It's so refreshing. As a working parent myself, it's a good reminder that none of us are perfect.
Right. We're all just doing our best.
Yeah, and that's okay.
It's a powerful message because we're constantly bombarded with those images of, perfect lives.
We are.
Speaking of powerful messages, I'm curious about how she built her online presence. She really has a knack for connecting with her audience. Like she's built this community.
And it's interesting, right? Because it kind of goes against what we hear about building a successful brand online. Like instead of focusing on, perfect pictures, she embraces authenticity, being vulnerable.
I think that's what makes her so engaging. It feels like you're
Right.
talking to a friend, not just like following some influencer.
It does. Like you're having a real conversation.
And it's not just about, being open about the challenges, but she also celebrates her wings,
Mm.
which creates this like shared joy, I feel like.
Totally, totally. And it's that balance of honesty and positivity, right? It's like she's saying, hey, life is messy, but it's also beautiful, and we're all in this together.
Thinking back to her fashion tips, it seems like her whole style philosophy kind of
Yeah.
mirrors that, right?
Yeah.
Like it's all about embracing who you are, being confident.
It is, yeah.
Remember that tip about using accessories to transform, basic outfits?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It's like take what you already have and make it work for you.
Yeah, totally. It's refreshing. Especially in a world that's always pushing us to buy new things, keep up with the latest trends.
It's like sustainable fashion.
It is.
That reminds me of that story in the article where she's, talking about helping her daughter create a prom dress.
Oh, yeah, from an old bridesmaid dress.
Exactly. It wasn't about spending a ton of money.
It was about being creative.
It was about creating something special.
And I love that story.
Yeah, and it's a good example of how she like passes on those values, right?
Absolutely, like creativity and resourcefulness.
Yeah, it's not just fashion. It's about, making good choices and finding joy in the simple things.
Definitely.
So we've talked about her family life, her business sense, her fashion tips. But for me, it's really her commitment to her values.
Yeah.
Whether it's adoption, sustainable living, or just being authentic. Like she really walks the talk.
I agree. And that's what makes her so inspiring. It's clear that she's driven by, a purpose and wants to have a positive impact.
And it's amazing like how she balances all those roles, mother, entrepreneur, advocate, and doesn't seem overwhelmed.
I think part of it is her ability to build a support system.
Right. She's not afraid to ask for help.
No. She's got people around her who share her vision.
That's so important, especially for women who, are often expected to do everything themselves.
Right. Angela's story reminds us that it's okay to delegate, ask for support, build a community.
And that community goes beyond her family and friends, right?
Oh, yeah, she's got this huge online following.
Yeah, we're invested in her journey.
And it's not just about likes and followers. It's about, real connection.
It's about shared values.
Exactly.
Her story is so compelling. It really shows the power of, authenticity, community, and being true to yourself.
It does.
And as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to bring it back to you, the listener. What parts of Angela's story resonate with you?
Yeah. What lessons stood out? What's one thing you can take away from this? Whether it's about parenting, style, or following your passions, we really want to know.
So we've covered a lot in our deep dive into Angela's world, from her farm life and fashion to her family and business.
We really have.
But as we wrap up, I think it's time to shift from, observation to, application.
Yeah, I agree. It's one thing to just admire her journey, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the magic happens when we actually take something from it and use it.
Exactly. So thinking about everything we've learned, what really resonated with you, what lessons or insights stood out, what's one thing you could implement in your own life? Could be about parenting, style, anything.
For me, it's how she creates a life that really reflects her values, It's not just about traditional success. It's about intention and purpose. It makes you wonder, what would it look like to build a life that feels authentically like you?
That's such a good question. It's so easy to get caught up in everything and forget what really matters.
Yeah.
But Angela's story shows us that it's possible to create a life that feels, fulfilling and meaningful.
And it doesn't have to be this huge change, right? It can start with small steps.
Yeah, little things.
Like maybe you try one of her fashion tips just to feel more confident.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's just, making time for family.
Or maybe it's finally going for that passion project you've been putting off.
Totally. The point is to just start somewhere, take that first step.
Towards a life that feels more aligned with, what you want.
What's so fascinating to me is how she does all of this and still stays grounded.
Yeah, she doesn't hide from the challenges.
But she doesn't let them, control her,
There's this resilience
and optimism.
that you just, feel.
I think it comes from her focus on, connection.
Right. with her family, her online community.
The people she works with, she really prioritizes relationships.
It reminds us that we're not meant to do this alone.
Absolutely not. That support system is so important.
It's a source of strength,
Yeah.
especially when things get tough.
It makes you think about, who are your cheerleaders? Who do you rely on?
And how can you nurture those relationships?
Such good questions to consider.
As we wrap up our deep dive, I want to leave you with one last thought.
Okay, I like this.
If you could ask Angela one question, what would it be?
Oh, that's great. It makes us keep thinking and learning from her story.
And who knows, maybe it'll spark something new for you in your own life.
Exactly.
Until next time, happy learning and keep diving deep.